going down, family?
You ready for the interview?
I'm ready. Actually, can I use the restroom right quick?
Yep, of course.
Anybody got a cigarette?
It's alright.
No, if I don't smoke, you don't smoke. That's just I know, because if somebody do. No.
Got it all good? Yep.
Okay, first, before we start, I was in Bali visiting some family, and I wanted to give you this VIPER.
What? Oh my God! Thank you so much. Incredible.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear this at the next show, y'all.
You'll have to go to like a jewelry store to get it like fitted, because it's pretty big right now.
This is an expensive watch. Hey man, I want to thank you so much. This is just, I don't know what to say. Like, this is just.
Oh, don't get your hopes up. This was at like a night market. I don't think it's a official watch.
Well, it's all good, man. This is still just beyond belief that you would even just, the token.
You inspired both me and the cameraman's music endeavors and film endeavors, so it's my way of saying thanks. So before we start, do you want to shout anything out, tell the audience where to find you, things like that?
I wanted to just let the audience know that I appreciate everybody and everything.
All right, cool. First question, I'm really curious. Where did the name VIPER come from?
VIPER came from just the snake, like I just said, when I first seen it, I thought about it and it just hit, it just basically just hit.
Cool. So
That means I'm a fan. That's all I want to say. I'm no more.
do you have any ties with the bands that played here today, or am connected to any other local musicians in Houston?
No ties, but my daughter is a great big-time fan of them, of Substance, and she's a big-time punk rock fan. My daughter, Zayla Carter, and she knew more about Substance than she did about me, so that was interesting.
So your first album was produced around 2003. 19 years later, about 1,500 albums. How has your workflow or approach to music and filming changed?
It's pretty much the same grind. I'm just now starting to get some of the recognition. That feels good, but the same purpose is to put out as much product as humanly possible.
So do you have any specific motivation or reasons for your discipline in making so much music?
I think the main thing is to give quantity. At the end of the day, you can only listen to a song so many times before you got to go to the next one. So I have a choice to either give you 3 or 4 songs that have meaning, or give you 3 or 400,000 songs that have meaning. I chose to go with 304,000.
You're heavily credited with the in creation of the genre cloud rap, and your effects predate many other artists. In recent years, cloud rap has become very popular with artists like Drain Gang. Do you have any comments on your influence on rap music over the years?
It's interesting. I've heard of different cloud rap artists, and I'm humbled when people say I kind of created a genre. And it's very humbling when you see, artists like Triple X, that, has like 10 times as many subscribers as you do. But it all boils down to the fact that I was able to create a platform that wasn't there before.
A lot of your songs on the YouTube channel are rapper a VIPER rapper Vivo often take inspiration from anime, video games, and pop culture? Do these all come from your interests, or do they come from things like your Discord community?
A little bit of combination of both. You know, I've been a video game fanatic since a kid. You know, started with Atari, then it was, you know, Nintendo, then it was Vectrex, then it was Coleco, then it was, you know, Genesis, then it just, you know, just kept going up, PlayStation. And I had them all, you know, and it was hard growing up, you know. Our parents, they did the best they could, you know, and sometimes they had, you know, had it hard, and at the end of the day, you know, if they disciplined us, they would spoil us, you know, and so we got spoiled. So we got all kind of games and all kind of stuff. At the end of the day, I was able to go through all the video games, and so, like I say, I kind of fell in love with the games, and so a lot of what I do in rap is centered around that. As a matter of fact, my oldest son wants to get into video game design, and I actually want him to be a stockbroker, and he's being hard-headed. But at the end of the day, video games even transcends to my family, you know, and my kids. So of course, it's embedded in me, and so cloud rap is kind of just a culmination of that. You know, a virtual sound. You know, it's combining cloud rap is combining virtual reality with rap and music. It's kind of like an assimilation of a mixture of technology and ideology simultaneously. But that's about it on that.
I have a follow-up question. Do you by any chance have a favorite anime?
That's a good one. You know, I'm gonna always be Dragon Z, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of them. You know, I could just, you know, name hundreds, but it would be pointless because it wouldn't do justice for all of the anime. You know.
I know you're very religious and have often referred to yourself as Black Jesus. Do you have any comments by what you mean by this?
Yes. Black Jesus, Black Santa Claus, it's all simultaneous.
He didn't know how to say it. It's son. It's son of Jesus, because a lot of people didn't even think of it. And sons and daughters, that's what the name is. And we all did, because I know from back in the game, I lived in the Bronx. I have it tatted on my arm right here. New York City. I'm from Houston, Texas. It's a tattoo I got from prison in San Antonio, Houston, Texas.
That's right, and that's my little brother, my kid brother, my baby brother, my youngest brother, Clarence Barnes. He's also my stage hype man. Also, my brother-in-law, Chris Sagwa, he was not able to make it tonight. I didn't bring any of the guys I grew up with from the hood. Clarence is a guy I grew up with from work, previous work, and then, of course, my brother-in-law. Y'all have seen us in shows in Austin, probably about 6-7 years back. Y'all seen us a show in Austin. I wasn't able to get in touch with my brother-in-law because my brother-in-law tonight is at my father's 100th high school reunion. Can you believe that? My pops is 90 years old. My mother just died. Y'all know that. She died last year around this time, but she was 79, and my pops is just turned 90. So I got a good 10 years with old boy, man. You know, and at the end of the day, hopefully more. You know, hopefully 30. But the point of this is that I want to thank
Christ say
everyone
forever.
for
Can we even imagine that?
Yeah.
For Jesus say forever.
forever.
All right, just 3 more questions. A while ago, I heard about a Lil B and VIPER collaboration.
Go at you real quick.
Did that ever happen?
So off, man. They don't even know. Everything that they got going on. You know, I live in New York, so I know fashion. It's huge, for real. That's all I wanted to say right there. I don't want to say no more.
A while ago, I heard about a Lil B and VIPER collab. Did that ever happen? And do you have any collaborations planned for the future?
I'm really looking forward to this collaboration with Lil B. When I do this collab with Lil B, I'm going to make sure no resources are spared. I'm going to make it financially the biggest video I've ever done ever. And it's because I have family in California. My first cousin, my mother's sister's son is in Oakland. And then, of course, y'all know Greg Carter. My brother, he is in L.A., and so I've been wanting to do this just for Cali. And, of course, I've been looking to spend more time on the West Coast. I just bought a springboard house in El Paso. Also bought a springboard house to the East Coast in Georgia. So I'm looking forward to doing a lot of work in California, and as a result of that, I'm going to be dealing with Little B, and Little B and I are going to make an insane song. It will probably be the song of the century. Something similar to the song that starts with a C on the first word and the second word is L. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Really looking forward to it. You've played shows in several places, and you're going to be playing in New York City, Atlanta, El Paso, Texas, and more. Are there any differences you've noticed in the crowd, specifically in Houston, compared to other places?
Honestly, the difference that I've noticed is only policing. In terms of the crowds, it's been the same. But policing in Texas, there's less police in Texas. And I think because it's less police in Texas, they overworked, and so they more strict because they overwork. So they pulling over black men left and right. And I'm finna tweet tomorrow or next day, I just got pulled over by another police officer day before yesterday, and that was the third one in 3 months. But I've noticed when I go to the East Coast, there's tens of thousands of police. But there's so many of them that they don't do nothing. Like, they just lay back and chilling. They ain't whipping and running all over the place. So they more laid back and they don't really bother you. They just let you be. But down here, I guess because we running them rampant, the police acting up down here.
Final question.
The thing I've been noticing is basically just policing, and that's what's really have been having me wanting to go spend more time in other states, is because of that. Because the policing down here in Texas is so bad. The police down here in Texas, they bothering black men so much. It's just it's unacceptable. They need to slow it down. They really do.
Final question. Any music you're listening to as inspiration? at the moment?
Yes. I've been listening to a lot of Ghanaian music lately. I think the whole thing now with the global warming is that, not only global warming, but the whole thing about, and I won't go into this whole big drawn-out physiological thing on our last, metaphysical thing on our last question, but what I do want to say is that, the trifecta, global warming, infection, and there's three. I'm gonna think of the other one, but at the end of the day, we as a people have got to try to be more unified. See, we think so much of the tomorrow, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, everything's fine, okay, so, yeah. But at the end of the day, tomorrow is not promised to any of us. So it doesn't matter if you're young. Yeah, go ahead, tell them, bro.
That's all I want to say. That's what the holy word says. To all of us.
So, one is corona. Infection. I think it's what is it? Right now it's
COVID.
It's COVID and polio, and polio they call it monkeypox, but it's also another word for shingles. It's all the same thing, but in essence, it's infection, global warming, and the third one is nuclear war threat. See, those three threats. It's a trifecta. Do you know why it's a trifecta? You know why it's a trifecta, right? There's a purpose for that. It's three. You know what the three means, right? It means if you can stop one, you can't necessarily stop the other two. So we've got to stop thinking about tomorrow. Let's go to sleep tonight, and we're gonna wake up tomorrow for sure. Yeah, we might not wake up. We might wake up tomorrow, but we may not necessarily wake up in this life. You understand? So we've, as a people, this is what I want. I want people to stop trying. Okay, well, let's do everything we can. Let's do this. Even the president already said we can't do nothing about global warming. It's a wrap. Ain't nothing can be done about that. It sounds a little depressing, but let's think about now. No more of tomorrow. Let's think about now. I keep seeing, one of the questions you asked me was inspirational music, right? The one thing, what's inspiring me? What's inspiring me right now is African music. And I think it's because it's a rebirth right now. What that rebirth is saying, let's all go back to our roots. You feel me? Because nothing's finna stop this. We can talk about it. They can tell you on the news, oh yeah, let's do localish. Let's talk about restaurants. Let's go into all of these things that mean absolutely nothing when people are starving across the planet. So people just got blowed up, and COVID steadily going up. All the important things they're not gonna tell us about. They don't want us to go into a panic. So, at the end of the day, let's not go into a panic, but let's be wise about this. You feel me? And I say this because y'all are young people. Y'all are my son's age, early 20s, near to 20s, some in your 30s. Y'all are young people. Y'all in your 30s, I'm 10 years older than y'all. I just turned 50, so some people still consider me young. I'm 20 years older than y'all, but at the end of the day, 20 years is nothing. When we're talking about astronomical celestial time, specifically celestial time. In celestial time, what's the 24-hour calendar? I think it's the humans have been on the 24. I'm sorry, on the 24-hour Big Bang clock. Humans have been less than a second or something like that.
I know.
There's a reason for that because we still fighting that whole second. Well, why is it? That's the whole point. It's just a second. So let's think about today. There's a song that say, "Life is but a twinkling of an eye." See, I'm only 50. I can sit here and say I want to be 130. I want to be I'm gonna live another 80 years. But what's the point of that? If God can come right now, and take all of us to something better, why would I want to be another 80 when I can go and let him to come now? You feel me? So that's the point. Let's not think about tomorrow. You know what I mean? Let's think about him coming right now, because that's what's going to happen. It's finna happen. There's nothing you can stop it from happening. They already said global warming, we got to 2090 at the max. We're going to have to go to Mars, and only rich people going to go to Mars. Everybody else going to be here and going to burn up. So why think about tomorrow's 2090 burning up? Think about right now. Don't worry about the news. News going to tell you everything to keep you pacified like a little baby. They're going to tell you all the good stuff. They're going to tell you nothing about corona rising. They're going to tell you about none of this stuff, monkeypox rising. They're going to say, oh, yeah, well, let's tell them about the restaurant around the cola. That'll keep them pacified. Be smart, know the truth, and go and get ready in your heart, in your soul. You see what I'm saying? I told my son this, and I told my daughter, I said, y'all just 20 years old. You only been here 20 years. What would you do if God just came and took you today? What would you do? You know what they would do? They would be with their daddy. That's what they would do. At the end of the day, they're going to be with their daddy and something better. And my sister even said, you got all this money and you still ain't happy. I say, how do you know I'm happy, but at the same time, you don't know if I'm happy or not. You know, I'm going to let you know what you need to know. But at the same time, the end of the day is, I could be what they say, the trillionaire. And I can still stay blow the whole place up. Because the money might not be enough, you know. So at the end of the day, it's finna happen like this. It's finna start being people rising up in the money game that are not necessarily satisfied with the money. And what do you do? What happens when you got a bunch of people, good people, that ain't satisfied with money? You know, what do you do then? If you God, what do you do with a bunch of people? You done pacified them, gave them all this money, millions of dollars. Ain't this gonna keep you happy? Shut up. I'm gonna give you 10 million. Shut up. Well, it ain't enough, Lord. What do you do then if you God? Oh Lord, I might have to come get them. No, they say enough money ain't enough. If we saying God gave this man $10 million, 10 million ain't enough. He say, well, Lord, it's 10 million.
I don't know about that 10 million. I just want to see mine in cash. Now let me get $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend it all tonight with it.
All tonight. And see, that 10 million ain't enough. But what happens when you get 1,000 people? That 10 million ain't enough. What happens when you get 1 million people? That 10 million ain't enough. What happens when you get 1 billion people? That 10 million ain't enough. At that point, God's got to start making some decisions. But guess what? You one of the ones that 10 billion ain't enough. That 1 billion ain't enough. You one of the ones that 1 billion ain't enough. You one of the ones that 1 billion ain't enough. I know it. You one of the ones that 1 billion ain't enough. We all one of the ones that 1 billion ain't enough, because $1 billion is just $1 billion. At the end of the day, we're going to spend it. But you know what you can't spend?
To what I said.
You know what you can't spend? You can't spend that time. You know what's priceless? That time in Christ's bosom. See, in Christ's bosom is where questions that we can't figure out are answered. Questions like, where does space end? That's in Christ's bosom. That's the billion people that $1 million ain't enough for them. The million ain't enough. They want God's bosom to get the real answers. That's what's happening now. There's what we call a transcendence, where the money ain't enough. They want the real answers. People want the real answers. We want the real answers now. We forcing God to give us the real answers. And so now he's got to answer. He's got to. A man could come shoot me right now, boom. But still, the answer finna be answered. You feel me?
I felt pain. I've never felt pain, so I understand, brother. And that's the highest of it all. It ain't nothing in that time or nowhere else that could be like right here being blown up. And that was it. And the only way, I have a testimony to say, the only way I'm alive right now, God had me like, because my head supposed to been blown off horribly bad. Dead, gone, gutted. Brains under everything. Even before cots or anything. It was way back. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even because of you at all. It was because of how I was thinking. But at the same time, I'm not like a brain type of person as far as people think. But if God wasn't with me, I supposed to been got here. Yeah. Brains out of there, grind. Oh man, my partner got killed. His brain was out of his head. That type of death. Horrible. Oh, bah! Right there. I even went today when you called me. I was like, let me see. And I was really scared. That's it. I said, and I humbled myself. I didn't turn into a bitch though. We done before this honor for our spirit, but I don't know what to do, and I get my head blown up. And I was so scared, bro. Yeah. That's the feeling because of the reverential fear of God.
Reverential. What you say?
Reverential fear of God.
Revelational fear of God.
You can say it like that too. Reverential and revelational.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Revelational.
You can say like that
What
too.
would you think about that? Revelational fear of God.
Because that's the time we're living in now. And the power from the past. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the spiritual aspect of it. Physically, everybody like, oh. But the spiritual aspect is where that demon of the mind, it's not even about us as humans. It's once that demon knows that as humans ain't down with them no more, then they start straight running to kill. Yeah, man, that makes sense though with anybody. Because if you know what I'm saying, you gonna give up, you like, okay, I'm gonna kill everybody. And then if they catch me, I'm gonna kill them in intelligence, smarts, and common sense, and take their money. That's what that demon is always. You already know that.
Yeah.
You already know that.
There it is.
Well, this concludes the interview. Right. Thank you for all the answers and your time, Viper and Clarence. Thank you.